be sparking and rushing mad like inside the dark. Call me Bill Snatcher, just a brother for the rapture. I hang live, holding on strong, hard to capture. Extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Before we go any further, just want to say today's video is going to be sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online community that focuses on learning with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You can explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and you can get lost in your own creativity. Well, for me, the class I found to be the most interesting was Podcasting Secrets, How to Start Your Own Podcast, because that was something that allowed me to see a lot of the shortcomings that I had with the podcast I tried to start last year. The good thing about Skillshare is that it's specifically curated for learning, which means that there are no ads and they're always launching new premium classes, and it allows you to take your own first steps along your own creative path, whatever that path might be, whether that be the photography classes or the animation classes or the drawing classes. There's something here for everybody. Now, Skillshare is very affordable. It's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. However, I'm going to help you guys out for a second. So the first 1,000 subscribers that click on my link in the description box will get a free trial of a premium Skillshare membership that allows you to explore your own creativity. So this is the beautiful thing though, right? Skillshare allows you to do something that you couldn't do yesterday, and the classes are very short, which are designed for real life. So if you're somebody like me who's always busy, these classes are just short enough to where you'll be able to learn everything and not actually get in the way of your everyday life. Skillshare believes in a strong community that is essential to personal growth, so it allows you to tap into the support of fellow creators who provide encouragement and communication and inspiration. When you join, you can try one of Skillshare's new live classes. You can experience real-time inspiration as you connect with popular teachers while watching and working alongside other members. Regardless of whatever your skill level is, whether it be beginner or pro or somebody that's a master at something, there's something here for everybody. And I would encourage you, once again, the first 1,000 people who go down to my link in the description box, you get access to a free trial of the Skillshare Premium membership. And I do think it's something that a lot of people will benefit from. But with that being said, let's get back into the video. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga, and for anime only fans, this is the time of the month where a lot of the content that you guys see on the channel is going to be spoiler heavy, so I thank you for your support. However, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you guys are caught up with the manga and you guys don't care about me talking about spoilers. So I think now we need to have a serious conversation about the possibility that in the next chapter, that during the Five Kage Summit, that one of the Five Kage actually introduces the idea of killing Boruto Uzumaki, because everything has changed now. Now, in the past, I said maybe there's a possibility of somebody suggested just because of the fact that Boruto's body is 80% Otsutsuki, and I think even since then, things have changed quite a bit, and I think Naruto's going into this Five Kage Summit thinking that he can share his timeline and share the intel that he's been able to gather with the Five Kage, and that everything's gonna go smooth peachy cream. However, there are a few differences that need to be brought up here. Number one, under this new agreement that the Five Kage have after the Fourth Great Ninja War, they cannot under any circumstances take steps towards actually gaining new military power and capability. We saw that in the Akata's arc, or in that arc where it was Inoki and he was building the Akatas, and you had this moment where the current Tsuchikage looks over at Inoki and says, yo, you can't do this. You can't make these artificial beings that are going through and fighting, because it's going to violate the treaty. You're going to get us all in trouble. That's one of the things that she tells to Inoki, but as we all know, Inoki goes on to make the fabrications, and it's a huge clusterfuck at this point. And so I say that to say, when you look at that, and then you look at what happens in the Shikamaru Shinden novel, where during that time, Naruto is being called out by some of the Five Kage for the fact that he's making the scientific ninja weapon tech tools, and those are clear military expansion. Naruto says it's more so for him to inspire the new generation to train. They get an opportunity to actually experience using high-level ninjutsu, which Boruto definitely used the ninja tools for that aspect, but they viewed it more so as military expansion by Konoha. And if you go back and you look at another example of the treaty being violated, look at the Hidden Cloud Village, where during the events of Naruto the Last, the Raikage makes an entire chakra cannon that's powerful enough that he thinks he can blow up the actual moon. And see how the Five Kage during that impromptu Five Kage Summit raised all type of holy hell because of it? Well, now look at this situation here. So not only did Naruto make the scientific ninja weapon tech tools, have them made under his tenure as Hokage, but now he's also brought in the scientist who has pledged his allegiance to Konoha, the scientists of the enemy, who we know that the Five Kage are aware of. That guy now works for Naruto, and it can reason that Naruto's going to have to disclose to the Five Kage that Amado has agreed to turn over his research and his services to Katasuke, which means that Konoha is once again going to be furthering its military capability, even if Naruto does not actually realize it. Now, why is this so important? Well, Naruto has made the promise to Five Kage. They're like, hey, I'll take full responsibility for anything that happens with Kawaki. He's going to be under my direct care. If you go back to that chapter where they all had their conversations, there were a couple of the Kage who were like, yo, I don't think this is a good idea. It took Naruto working the political backwater channels and making the sad puppy dog faces and everything to get Darui to say like, yeah, you know, I know Jinchuriki. I know he wouldn't like being in prison. And Gaara's like, hey, as a former Jinchuriki, I totally am not down with something like that. And so Naruto won by a slim margin at that point. He got two other people to join over on his side. Well, now Naruto doesn't have as much room to stand on. He's lost the kyuubi, he's made that promise, and he's compromised himself. Sasuke, the guy that the Five Kage, we know from Naruto Gaiden, they relied on Sasuke to go into these Otsutsuki dimensions. Sasuke can no longer do it because Boruto stabbed out Sasuke's eye, and so now all of a sudden the two strongest members of the alliance, they've been severely compromised. They have Boruto Uzumaki, who is a threat right in their backyard, because with each passing day, Boruto gets closer and closer and closer to actually being taken over by Momoshiki, which means that they have a Otsutsuki threat that is in their backyard. But then they also have the threat of Code out there, and Code also has a karma seal, and they don't know whether or not there are more Otsutsuki that are on their way, and they can't find out whether or not there are more Otsutsuki on the way simply for the fact that, oh yeah, Sasuke can't go into those dimensions. And so the logical answer is that you handle the situation that you can handle right now, which is you send out a search party for Code, you have Code taken down, and then you find a way to actually handle the Ten Tails problem. But one thing you could look at is that, like, hey, after we handle the Ten Tails, we need to have Boruto killed if we don't have a way to actually stop Momoshiki from taking over his body. Because again, how can they actually stop the karma progression if Sasuke can't go into those Otsutsuki dimensions? I think that you could see a scenario to where maybe Boruto borrows a little bit from a series like Jujutsu Kaisen, which we're basically watching the story as it counts down to Yuji being executed. Boruto's in a very similar situation right there. That's gonna be an interesting thing, whether or not one of the Five Kage actually presents that as a topic of discussion right there. And I think on the logical side, there is some room for merit for that. It's a dark conversation, but it's one that Naruto's not going to be able to actually stop the Five Kage from actually having. And I think at this point, Naruto, he doesn't have much room to actually argue against what they're saying, because Naruto, like he told Boruto in chapter 700 of the manga, he's a Hokage. The Hokage has to put his family behind his duties as the actual leader of the Hidden Leaf Village, and Naruto has to act as a Kage at this point. And so you can see some of those Five Kage that are saying like, look, you need to put your feelings as a father aside and you need to consider what we're saying. And I think that the compromise for this is that Naruto's going to say, I'll agree to your plan, but if we can find a way to stop that karma progression or find a way to get the karma seal off of Boruto, Boruto cannot be killed under any circumstances. Because like Naruto said in the last chapter, there's so much that they don't know about the actual karma seal. So that gives Naruto a little bit of bargaining power right there, because it's the unknown factor right there. But that's gonna be interesting. The other thing I could see happening, which is almost worthy of its own video of itself, which is whether or not the Five Kage also look at Kawaki and say this was also somebody that had the karma seal, and if he had the karma seal of an Otsutsuki that was able to defeat you, what's to say that there's not a slim chance that that Otsutsuki can't actually revive himself into your body? We need to off him as well. That's something that could happen. That's something that's very interesting. So I'm very curious to see what you guys think about this. Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you think any of the Five Kage could make the argument that Boruto needs to be killed? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.